Yeah, I guess I'm recording. It should be anyway. So, welcome to another edition of What the Fuck Happenings here in Mendham. So, somebody did ask in the comments a while ago whether I was still using Manjaro Linux. And yes, I am. And so that's why this video is formatted a little different as I'm trying some of the options. And I'm liking them and such. So, more to come, probably, maybe, mostly. Yeah. Yeah. Camera actually works now. Strange. Didn't, anyway, this webcam works so much better. Even though can't really change the settings. So anyway, I thought I'd do some comments and, related stuff people have linked me to and different things. So, yeah. Okay, I'll do this comment first just because it's an old comment, but it has to do with it's this whole thing like I have to like people who I disagree with about something fundamental. And there is a point where you just say it's not worth it anymore. It's like the Puro thing. He's just too stupid to like. And, all the, all the Nietzsche people are like that. Too stupid. This isn't quite right. Now I'm worried about things like being perfectly centered, where that kind of you're just worried about getting something reasonable. Anyway, so I'll quit being distracted and do what I'm here to do. I don't know. Anyway, yeah. So anyway, So there's just there's philosophical notions in people's heads that are just toxic, or whatever you want to call them. They have a word for that, toxic pill or something, or some kind of thing like that. But anyway, and it's toxic. You just can't. Unacceptable. All right. So anyway, so this person called Multicast. Hey Gary, it's Shane. So he said that publicly, so I guess he doesn't care. But anyway, so this is a guy I've known for years. Kind of very depressive, generally speaking. He's been here, we've interacted in live format, and I sort of considered him a friend, I'd say, and but yeah, he's just too stupid. It turns out, just way too fucking stupid. But anyway, it's disappointing, but it's it is a pattern, that I have run across on the internet. It's hard to find the real McCoy thing, the real Indian. It's like they all got some whitey in them, just to ruin it. But anyway, hey Gary, it's Shane. Okay, this girl can read some of my thoughts and she has supernatural abilities. He always did have kind of a bent towards conspiracy theories, and I'm not probably revealing anything too personal by saying he, did the whole peyote thing. I thought that was magic, that kind of shit. Anyway, it doesn't mean there's a God or that life isn't shit. Well, supernatural abilities kind of does imply kind of a God thing, really. Some sort of complex magic infrastructure that doesn't have to obey the laws of physics and doesn't leave trails behind and do all this stuff that regular natural things do. Yeah, you really can't get around it. It's hard to describe supernatural without getting into the realm of a universe created by somebody who's thinking about what they're doing, that somehow knows how to design a universe. So, again, your logic sucks. And if I'm right, that this girl could actually read your mind, Gary. Yeah, I hope she likes porn. What's she gonna read? Oh yeah, you're hot. Oh, you do that yoga thing? Hey, yeah, that's cool. Can we fuck? And what is she gonna read on my mind? What did she read in your mind? I'm not saying that, obviously you can't know somebody by just going into a video and looking at it for a couple of minutes. Yes, your reaction is going to be just this sort of superficial, and that's all she's going to read on my mind. But anyway, what does that mean? I'm just saying, well, good luck. I wish her luck, because there's nothing. I mean, the book on the outside is pretty much the book on the inside. There's no, I'm really not gaming anybody here, fuckhead. So anyway, so he left a link. So let's go to the link just for the fun of it, and you'll see. I mean, nice looking chick, but you can sort of, I know, reading her mind, I can sort of feel that she's just desperate to find meaning in life, and she's found some sort of tolerable, something to keep her from going batshit insane by doing this guru bullshit. No. Let's see, it didn't open the new tab. Strange.
With our body.
Oh, body.
Chakra.
Oh, yeah, so there's better videos.
That establishment is the root, and that root is...
Bibble babble. Yeah, okay, got it. It's always bibble babble. But anyway, so you get it. I mean, when she's doing the whole yoga thing, yeah, okay. She's hot. But that's, whatever people think they're getting out of this crap, I don't get it. So anyway, go on to other comments, and we're going to get to this tax thing and this, and yeah, to me it's a no-brainer, and the logical argument is right there to be made, which I'm going to try to do on a, I'm going to try to make a new kind of message board, sort of formatted. This will go to this, that ain't it, maybe this one, yeah, one of these kind of pages that I made in the past, where this bar thing can be where the text is written, and then I'll put the real text over here, and this was going to be the debate page with Puro in the past, and I'll just transform that into a individual subject boards of some kind, blah 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 blah. So that was another link I guess I should get to, is this guy. I think I have this one loaded already. So he's sort of doing the Anticonabod thing in look, but I mean he has a whole different style.
Of death.
Yeah.
In 1946, I, Albert Caracol, returned to France.
So it's like some kind of hip Anticonabod or something. But anyway, so yeah, he's sort of this will to death thing, as he puts right there, the will to death. But again, I can feel the Nietzsche nihilist bullshit, and the defeatism of it. And what's the point of the message? He even says in here something like, once his father dies, he'll hang himself because he's only living out of obligation to his parents, which seems, that's having your will corrupted by a silly bigotry or a silly attachment. I mean, it really shouldn't be controlling whether you live or die. Living for somebody is, it's self-imposed. It's like wearing a burqa. I mean, that's being owned. That's not being an owner. That's not owning your philosophy in a sense. But anyway, so yeah, it's all, it's good that he's dark, but I fear that it's too Nietzschean dark, which ends up just being nihilistic, and, yeah, fuck that. So, I mean, people who are supposed to be on my side do seem to like this guy, but I don't think he's on our side in that sense. Recognizing that life is shit, yes, that's step one. But step two is shit doesn't get cleaned up by killing yourself. So that's not the proper reaction to a problem, isn't to say, boom. That doesn't solve the fucking problem. And even Nietzsche knew that, in the sense that he had this word reoccurrence, or whatever it is. You know, he sort of knew of your resurrection in the new world. The phoenix is going to be rising again and going to get shot down again and crash and burn again. And you have to break the cycle. You have to shoot the bird pedestal thing, whatever. Anyway, so all right. So is there anything else? No, there's nothing else right now. So I'll just read some of these comments and do some comments. Sorry, it's just, you know, that's what the video will be this time, because that's what it will be, I think. I'm a little behind, got stuff I've had to do and blah 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 and whatever. So this common sense prick, bastard fucker, useless piece of turd. Anyway, so do you think empathy has legitimacy if you apply it under your system? So again, I've over and over again said I really have no use for these emotional words of compassion and empathy. Understanding is the only word that's important here. So understanding something's vulnerability or its suffering as just being a fact, not because it makes your heart bleed, but merely because you understand it to be wrong. And that's where we get into this argument about nepotism and inheritance. There's no rational reason not to say, yes, it's much better to have a society where the biggest rewards are earned. It's just rational. And I know nepotism just you can't control it. But you know, and I'm saying we give you $4 million worth of nepotism for free. And then we only tax the part after that. We don't take it all away. It's not like you can't inherit more than 4 million. It's just that we tax some of it over 4 million. And that's not enough nepotism. That's not enough of a cheat. It's just fucking cheating. It's a social cheat that doesn't make any rational sense, and yet you people will defend it. And so again, you know, and here this asshole somehow is saying, so do you think empathy? No, I don't think the word empathy is useful. That's a different approach than trying to attack the whole concept as a form of bigotry because moral nihilists are using it. I don't even know what that means. That's a different approach than trying to attack the whole concept as a form of bigotry. Because moral nihilists were using it. No, what they're doing is moral nihilists are going even a step. They're saying there is no earn. They're saying there is no deserve. They're saying there is no better or worse condition. They're annihilating the whole concept of value. The whole concept that something else's welfare, it has something to do with them having a welfare state. They're annihilating all logic. That's not the same thing as recognizing that our emotions are corrupting. That although I might think, like it's like cigarette smoking. I like smoking cigarettes. I liked smoking cigarettes. But I would never, ever, ever, ever suggest you get a kid addicted to cigarettes. So the point is, I can understand, okay, so I can understand nepotism. I can understand people's desire, but I'm saying, well, can't they limit it to a $4 million free head start? And that you can give them more, it's just going to be taxed at 40%. You know, the first few extra millions. And that's not rational enough for you idiots? Fuck. All right. Concept as a form of bigotry because you're using it. Like in another one of your videos, talk about contradiction. So there's no contradictions. Fuck you. I've never been inconsistent on these subjects. You're just being a fucking troll. Fuck you, you liar. Jesus. So another comment by the same asshole. Well, you can see that. It's right here. Yeah. Trust me, Gary, you're not cute. Again, it's certainly a matter of taste. And since you're too much of a coward to show yourself, I could just make some comments about how, well, I'm a hell of a lot cuter than you, fuckhead. You're an awful, indifferent, divisive asshole. Yeah, and I'm a lot of things. Yeah, I diversify. I'm also a generous, sensitive, caring, blah, 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 blah. So, yeah, it just depends on what kind of fucking scummy bug I'm interacting with. How I treat it. Whose movement will never succeed. Well, again, it's not my movement. I'm merely making arguments. I'm merely a messenger for a fact. They're only facts. I mean, I'm sorry to tell you that, but most of what I'm saying are just ways of explaining a factual circumstance in the universe. There's no God. We're biologically incapable of being much else but more destructive than productive, because the mechanism designed that way. We make problems in our head. They don't exist in the real world. Humans not existing. See, we think that's a problem. No, it's only a delusion in your mind. It's not an actual problem if humans don't exist. Nothing will be harmed by the experience of the non-existence. See, you're just stupid. Let's see. Because you fight everyone that you disagree with on any issue. Yeah, well, I do have principles. And those, not even principles. I guess you could say I have a list of, things that if somebody believes that, they can't fundamentally understand anything. I mean, if you believe certain things, there's no way you really are getting it. You're not grokking reality. Because the concepts are, as you use the word, talk about contradiction. They don't fit together at all. All right? And there's people who are love the rich and then talk about the suffering on earth. They're too fucking retarded not to understand that the rich create it. They all right, it's not fair to say they're alone in that process. I'm just saying the mechanism of their hoarding creates the shortages in resource and the inflation of price that makes people who wouldn't be poor. All right, because everyone, which is just the opposite of what humans do if they want a unified goal to be achieved. Well, I'm just saying, I think 10 well-motivated, properly motivated soldiers are worth a lot more than 100, assholes who can't shoot straight. So that's how I look at it. So fuck you. You may not see logic and emotional appeals, Gary. That's, well, I'm just saying, they're by definition, logic and emotion. They're different words for a reason, because you really don't have logical emotions. It's logical to feel bad when somebody's sick, let's say. But it's not logical to feel a lot worse when it's your mommy or somebody else's mother. That part's not logical. But it is how humans have expanded their values. So that's just hilarious. Like, I should be interested in human expanded values, whatever the fuck that would mean, to include more people and changed institutions. Like, well, thanks. Yeah, there's no more button. So, yeah, whatever. I don't think any of this, whatever you think progress has taken place, the rich have never been richer. The rich, the super rich now are richer than the kings of the past were. That's how bad it is. And assholes still don't get it. Like this asshole, multicast. Shane. Okay, so this is on the subject of cigarette taxes, but it's, related. No, it's one tax or the other. No, it isn't one tax or the other. Well, of course it is. I mean, here, there was a governor called Christy Whitman, and she was a Reagan Republican, and she did the same bullshit. She cut the taxes on the richest people in the state, and she financed it by increasing the taxes on the poorest people in the state. You want to justify taxes on anything where somebody might get away with getting something they didn't deserve. Yes, I want the tax code to be productive. and that means I want it to create incentives and disincentives consistent with which is in the social best interest. And I don't think it has to be draconian to do that. But I don't think there's any social interest in much of the tax code. Property taxes, for example, are draconianly evil. I mean, it doesn't matter whether you lose your job, you still got to pay property taxes. Oh, I'm unemployed and my wife has cancer. What sense does it make? No, it doesn't make any fucking sense. Might as well tax the hell out of everything people enjoy. So again, I'm not for taxes on vices, idiot. So I don't know why you're arguing as if I am. My argument is, though, if you're going to attack one vice, then you have to attack the other vices equally. That's in the Constitution, asshole. Equal protection under the law. And that's all I'm defending, fuckhead. Shit. I hope they start taxing air. Yeah, another realistic. How realistic of you. Way to stay on at the subject rationally. Fuck. Because you want to breathe clean air, right? Clean air benefits everybody. Well, there certainly is an advantage to saying if you're going to have a tax code that maybe you would use fees or something else. If somebody's polluting the air, it probably is a good idea to discourage that behavior. Wouldn't you think, asshole? And again, I already explained how cigarette smokers are not a social liability. They pay more into the benefit programs than they ever took out. So they can't be called polluted air. They don't affect in a negative way the quality of other people's lives. So it's none of their business. It's not social infrastructure to stop smokers from smoking in their own fucking front yard. Oh, shit. Might as well tax the hell out of everything people enjoy. I hope they start taxing air. Okay, yeah. Let's see, airborne, and the internet should be taxed. Well, the irony is they gave the internet a huge tax exemption and created a huge unfairness that really did destroy an awful lot of companies, and kind of is the only reason why Amazon succeeded at all. It would have been in bankruptcy a long time ago if it wasn't for that tax exemption. So the power of the taxation is undeniable, and you're just pretending it's not a reality, which is really stupid. And you should pay a death tax. So again, the dead person isn't paying the tax, and the tax is based on a rational equation that basically says this is one of the biggest prizes in the world, ownership of these companies and this resources and the land and all this stuff. This is the biggest prize you can win in life, is ownership of this stuff. And we should give away this biggest prize, bigger than the Olympics, bigger than the Olympic gold medal, bigger than the World Series ring, bigger than the World Cup, bigger than anything else in any part of our social infrastructure. In no other circumstance do we say, give it to the guy who didn't earn it. So if you can show me some other circumstance where we think there is this birthright, go ahead and show it to me. But there isn't, because it isn't reasonable. It's not acceptable, it's stupid, it's socially destructive. So again, you can keep pretending this is about persecuting dead people who are dead, okay, and it's not. You can't persecute a dead person unless you're doing something to insult their memory or something, or you're lying about them, harming their reputation. But how can you rationally defend this nonsense? It's baby talk. And you should pay a death tax. You're not going to pay the tax. You're dead. The argument is, should people who earn money pay taxes, or should people who didn't earn it not pay taxes? I mean, those are your choices. Should we tax people who go to work and earn the money, or should we tax people who didn't go to work and didn't earn the money? Seems pretty obvious which one, if we have to tax, which one should be first on the fucking list, you fucking cunt. Even if you don't inherit anything. So that doesn't even make any sense, right? Where did I, where would there be a death tax if you didn't inherit anything? How could that possibly be applied? So I mean, this is, you know, like I say, this is somebody I know, and he's going to type rubbish, this putrid on my fucking comment section, especially if you're poor, because they don't pay taxes anyway. So fuck everybody with taxes. So there's no continuity in that at all. So what are you, drunk? Oh, that's right, he did have a drinking problem. What you you want it both ways. The boomerang has come around to cut you to ribbons. Well, whatever. I don't know exactly how you can say I want it both ways when I haven't. I've made it as like you draw a picture, sort of how the tax code should function, and that it should tax the least the people who are the most socially productive. And I have never said anything other than that ever. So exactly, again, unless you can demonstrate how cigarette smokers are 800 times more unproductive, socially destructive than drunks like yourself, then you're going to have a tough argument, aren't you? You want it both ways. No, apparently you want it both ways. The boomerang, okay, anyway. Taxes are a necessary evil like big government. Well, the idea of big government, that's just more Republican rhetoric. Because the idea isn't about the government being big. The idea is about the government being impactful. So you don't have to have big government to have impact. And so I certainly am not in any way a fan of the whole idea of the government employees having their own social security system is bullshit. The teachers union, I'd break it. Okay, if I ever got into an executive position, yeah, forget it. You're all done. I'm going to write a contract, and the contract's not going to have any of the shit you want in it. Okay, because you're going to actually have to earn your salary, and you're not going to get this, 90% of your salary in fucking benefits. Fuck that shit. Anyway, and lots of regulations. Well, again, what regulations do you want to get rid of? You want to provide a list, some sort of Donald Trump list, the ones that would stop him from pretending to be a billionaire when he's not supposed to have made any money. How do you not make money for 20 years and then claim you're a billionaire? How do you do that exactly? And corrupt politicians to oversee the implementation of the tax money. So again, the corruption of democracy is another one of those things where who's that bad on? Is that bad on the politicians or bad on the people who voted for them? So again, that's more of a, you can blame the politicians if you want, but you got to really blame your neighbor and assholes like you. I blame you. Okay? You elect assholes, no doubt. No doubt you'll vote for some asshole like Ronald Reagan. Because you're an asshole. Fucking asshole. Alright. Let's see. I don't even know how to say this name, so I won't bother. Poor people forced to be like everybody else and earn it. Fuck. They still get 10.8 millions tax free and extra. Well, I don't know if it keeps expiring, unexpiring. So yes, I think Bush raised it to 10.8, but I'm not sure it's still. I think Trump's going to make it back to that. Taxed at something like 30%. They get to put in government bond and live like 5-star hotel for the rest of life. That's hard, like proletariat, right? Yeah, well, it's not a very articulate statement. Alright, John Smith, mocking voice. Let's all make a 15-minute I'm unsubscribing video. Makes an hour video. Whatever. I guess that's back when somebody was giving a whole reason why I was unworthy of their subscription. Let's see, I'm fighting causes too. Faggoty games. Good job at fighting those causes. Well, what's your problem? You can't take a little bit of a joke even? Yawn. Intriguingly nonsensical, disconnected statements and self-righteous. Yeah, well, we'll be done with you later, John. I guess I could be done with you now. I can probably do that. Yes, I can get over here and say, fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck you. Ugh. This was an interesting Ankakuko. You probably want to remove this link. I probably should do it for you. Well, it's basically a painting of porn. I don't really understand the reference entirely. I mean, I don't, it has something to do with nerd rum. I don't know. So it has something to do with being vain. The video was about my, whatever that word is. The fact that I like myself a lot better than I like you assholes. Anyway. So, but you probably want to, I don't want to delete it, but you probably should. If you don't stop the assholes, you're going to keep coming back. This is why suicide is futile. Yay, so somebody got the right answer. Way to go, Buffalo Boy. Not a very good name, but whatever. Alright, so, more from the Chicky Poo. Ooh, there's a whole bunch here. Well, I guess we can read it. In theory, I would not hesitate to limit all. I would not hesitate. Yeah, I probably will make videos on the inheritance subject again, just because I want to make just make the talking points and itemize them in this format. And, and also I was thinking I will do a video on Linux, on this Manjaro thing. Because it really does work. I'm almost completely converted. I had an old laptop. I was hoping I could get the OBS software to work on. That's the software I'm using for this thing in a thing clip thing. But anyway, it but it wouldn't work on a laptop, which was a little disappointing. But anyway, but the Linux does, and it's overall, it does some things better and some things worse. But overall, I think it's I like it, and it's not Windows. Yeah. Anyway, let's see, the suffering and pain, but it does have, there are little issues, just little ones, but there is, Anyway, let's see. Well, okay. In theory, I would not hesitate to eliminate us all right now in order to end the continued suffering on this planet. Good answer. Especially when you think of all the animals that are just being ground up right now. Right now they're having their eyes pulled out of their heads, all kinds of horrible shit happening. The suffering and pain is enormous and real, and yes, there sure is a high price and risk involved in being born to this reality. Oh, correct again. However, there's no howevers. I don't think it is realistic to believe that the suffering will end of free will. Well, again, it just takes, a 55% majority, 60% even better, but that's all it takes. And the anti-natalist position has already achieved that in the sense of people's behavior. So if they just think consistent with their own behavior, that is, most people don't recklessly have a bunch of kids. It's only a tiny percentage of the human population that's creating all of the excess population. They're already there. They're already so close. To say it can't happen when we're so close, in my opinion, you're just being a naysayer. Just being weak sauce. I don't think it's realistic to believe suffering will end of free will before the planet explodes. Well, I don't think the planet has to explode. I think one of the other planets might explode, actually. That'll end up causing us all kinds of grief, but whatever. But I do think that we make it a bit better. I don't know what that means. Well, certainly we can do it. We can have a We can have a positive or negative effect through our own BO, our own expressions into the world. Anyway, my contribution is not to have kids and be vegan. Well, it's kind of weak, to tell you the truth. I mean, I'm not saying you didn't find it horrible to think, oh, I can't have some little kid to torment and drive crazy and watch die. Maybe, possibly watch my own child die horribly. Oh, damn! It's such a sacrifice to give up that charm. I don't think so. And then the vegan thing is really easy. I mean, there's potato chips, for fuck's sake. You just eat them all day. That's one part of life. The other part has to do with the fact that there's no cheese and the problem with having to endure the game of having and losing. Yeah, well, there is cheese, but it's moldy is the catch. We certainly have desire, but our desires are so fucking crude at their core. Shitty. A life is short, but also long. Sort of. I sort of feel that. I sort of feel like I've been here forever. If you don't take care of it, then you risk adding to the suffering. Now, I don't know about what that means. How do you take care of it? So I don't know what that means. If you take care of it too serious, then you will have a horrendous separation. I don't even know what that means either. Separation is always going to require either a tragedy, like you lose the one you love, or the inverse, where you are, relieved of the burden. Is it this balance act you call playing the game to playing the game? To play the game, maybe I said. Playing the game to play the game. I don't know what that is. I never said playing the game to playing the game. But anyway, I believe in minor victories like the brush strokes you mentioned. I don't think I did that. But anyway, when I paint or make a sculpture, then it is the process I keep learning to see and feel. So maybe where you talk about destination, I want to talk about absorption. Well, this whole idea of getting something out of this stupid journey it ain't gonna happen. Even if you think you're getting somewhere, you're not getting anywhere. I'm just talking in terms of your own satisfaction. I don't mind losing the result of my work, but I do mind losing me. It is fucking hard to accept that we will be wasted in the end, and that our investments in ourselves and others will turn to dust. Yes. Well, I certainly have a sense of me being somehow important, but I know that's just bullshit. So, I mean, I logically know it. Alright. These tax as theft minions need a cold, swift, scimitar butterflying their feces. In my humble opinion. Anyway, my humble opinion, comments should be some kind of beautiful, elegant thing. And that's just not beautiful and elegant. Let the peasants eat the cold, swift Gillette blade of the guillotine. Who is going to cut the peasants' heads off? I don't understand this. I personally belong to the modern version of Pedet and such. Well, I don't care. It's another comment. It's just too indirect for my taste. Too much poetry in the world. Alright, PhD life apologist. They paid tax. Not everyone. Look at this guy who avoids the law. Total criminal. So it's a link to a... look, there's lots of those anecdotal things, but I'm really not after the anecdotes. I'm after the the whole general principle, and it takes place every day. A bunch of people who never had the pressure, never had to work without a net, never had to perform without a net. Understand the difference. Understand the difference about being 150 feet high in the air and having that net and not having that net. Just think about that for a minute and how different your performance is going to be, what you're willing to risk when there's no net. And that's the huge disadvantage this bullshit, idiotic cheat creates. And then the people with the net walk around talking about how they did all these great tricks and they're such great performers. And no, they didn't have they didn't have to. It's cheating. All right, morbid atheist. I unsubbed from Robespierre when he called Black Lives Matter activists racist terrorists. Well, obviously some of them are, but yes, generally speaking, it just seems simple enough statement, right? Just take it for what it's worth. Black Lives Matter. Yes, you can't just, shoot them and throw them in the bin. The real estate tax is not double tax because the person is dead. Well, it's not double tax because it just doesn't make any sense to call this stuff double taxed. I mean, just think in the terms of the most obvious example is when a corporation now, okay, they could just give away money, right? So they could just give away the money and there's no taxes because they're just like giving it away. But if a guy earns the money, he gets taxed, right? It's income. And that's the game here. These idiots are defending a system where you say, if we just give somebody money, he doesn't have to pay taxes. So you could just work for me for secret. Just do some work for me. We won't call you working for me, and I'll just give you some money, and then you don't have to pay any taxes. But if you go to work and earn it, with a schedule and all the rest of the bullshit, show up on time and do all the crap you have to do, then I'll tax the fuck out of you. That doesn't make any sense. Dead people can't do shit and they can't be taxed either. Yes, but the whole point is it's not about the dead person. It's about the living person who didn't earn it, for fuck's sake. All right. So Maximilian Cunt. Yeah. Dead road cunt. When the first owner of the wealth earned that wealth, they paid tax on it. And yeah, you could argue that about every dollar in the economy, that it was already taxed somewhere. Stupid fuck. When the wealth is transferred, it is taxed again. Well, again, transfer is the key word here. All right? Yeah, it's exactly what we do. We tax the money transferred from the corporation to the employee. And you're saying, what, that's not right either then? I mean, so you'd abolish every tax? I mean, really, the conversation, you're just playing some asshole game here. Because the conversation's always going to be about what taxes are better and what taxes are worse. It's not about the fact that, oh yeah, everybody loves the idea of taxing. No, people don't love taxes. I mean, in a sense, I could love them in the sense of that you were truly doing this social engineering with the tax code. Yeah, but they're not doing that. Okay, they're just engineering rackets, and we see who's engineering the rackets. The richest people in the world. And you're defending them. You're such a scum. All right. How is this not a double tax? Well, again, how is an employee's salary not a double tax? Explain it to me. Explain to me the difference between the inheritance cunt getting it tax-free and the worker having to pay taxes. Why is it okay to tax the worker and not okay to tax the inheritee? I never said in the video that the dead person is paying tax. I was talking about the inherited item or money being taxed twice. So again, I'm going to argue, why is it okay to tax work? Working. I go to work and I get taxed for earning money. If I inherit it, I don't get taxed for not earning money. How does that make any sense, you fucking cunt? All right. So, morbid atheists. So he just says the same thing again. Dead people don't pay taxes. When the wealth is transferred, wealth should not be transferred, at least based on nepotism, as is the case here. Yeah, well, the point is these arguments were all made in the video, so it's like there was no point in making the video because the Robespierre guy just is playing the same old game where they just ignore the video you just made, and you made these comparisons and made these points, and they just ignore it. Like, show me some other part of civilization that functions the way inheritance does, that has the ethics of inheritance. Show me the birthright somewhere else in society. Show me the birthright Super Bowl ring. Show me the birthright of some other accomplishment. Even the sons and daughters of genetic Olympic champions still have to earn it. They can't just show up and take it. Oh, God. When the wealth should not be transferred. Okay. Case here. How is this not? Dead people don't pay taxes. So again, I just would argue that everything is double tax. So it's a triple tax, quadruple tax. There's taxes on money that was already taxed, and it's all about this transfer thing and what's a legitimate transfer. And the rational people are arguing when we transfer ownership of our civilization, ownership of land especially, that transfer has to have integrity. It has to be based on earning. I never said in the video that just to have any respect for the dead people, for all the people that made the country we have, and you can even say all the dead Indians. We have to have a system that has some sort of rational integrity, or all that suffering was for nothing. I never said in the video that the dead person is paying tax. I was talking about the inherited item or money being taxed twice. Again, you did say in the video, so again, you called it the death tax. So again, you didn't talk about the beneficiary tax. You said the death tax. You're talking about the individual is dead. So again, you never mentioned the person, the unmeritorious person receiving the benefit. That's not how you describe it. You don't call it the unearned tax exemption. This is his response to Morbid Atheist again. Your issue seems to be with wealth being transferred. Gary seems to be with the quantity of the wealth being transferred. Am I correct? No, I'm just saying that that's what makes you people even more disgusting. Is this the system is basically saying, okay, I get it. You're nepotist. You can't be fair. It's not in your blood. It's like they're saying, okay, you can go into Yankee Stadium with rocks this big, okay, to throw at the other players, the opposing team players. But you can't take a rock this big, and you can't have an AK-47. So we're basically just saying, okay, you can be an asshole because you can't help being assholes. So we'll let you be assholes and throw minor rocks at decency. But yeah, we won't let you be indecent and mass murderers. And you seem to be just saying, why can't I be a mass murderer? You fucking piece of shit. So no, you're not correct, and you never will be correct because you're an idiot and an asshole. All right, there is no such thing as a small amount of wealth, quote unquote. It's either wealth or it's not wealth. A morbid atheist. I don't know exactly what he meant by that because, obviously you can establish a number of what's, it's like ludicrous speed, from the movies. Ludicrous speed is really ludicrous. And there's fast and faster and very fast, and then there's ludicrous. And so you know it when you see it. I don't know your position, but Gary has said before that he isn't against inheritance of, say, $1,000. No, I said I don't care about even a $2 million exemption. I don't care. That's not economically destructive. The $2 million inheritance will not ruin capitalism. The $2 billion inheritance will. And that's the point you're not getting. The 0.001% who own 70% of the resources are not inheriting $1 million. They're inheriting billions of dollars, you fucking idiot. God damn. but he is against it when we are talking about millions and billions. Yeah, but again, millions I'm not against. I'm saying it's wrong, okay? You want to be cheaters? You think cheating is a good idea? I think it sucks as an idea. I am the one who keeps saying my is irrelevant to the word child, that children have properties, and we should treat each one of them as a child with properties. And it shouldn't matter whether it's their child or my child. And you don't get that? You haven't heard me say that over and over again, you lying little piece of scum? God damn. Do you think people who inherit, say, $100 or $1,000 should pay tax on it? So again, the exemptions always existed. This isn't about the exemption. The $4 million exemption has always existed. Well, since the 60s or something. So what are you whining about? Relative terms. Okay, it wasn't 4 millions in 1960, but there was always an exemption. Shit. So it's just about this preposterous free ride. It's about giving away the entire store to some asshole who didn't earn it. Shit. $1,000 isn't wealth. I'd wealth at a few $100,000. Seems more fair. Like I said, it just doesn't have anything to do with why the subject's important. I only care about the social destructivity of inheritance and the fact that because you're not taxing the people you should be taxing, that means you have to tax the people you shouldn't be. So you're taxing the hard workers instead of taxing the freeloaders. That's the bull fucking shit. So yeah, a few $1,000,000, go ahead, disgrace yourself and do it. Okay, go ahead and give your kids a cheat in life. Go ahead, cheat. Fine. And again, that was never the subject, and that's what makes you such a liar. This has always been about huge fucking fortunes being passed on for free. Okay, you say that you don't believe in meaning. So I really, just tell the Data Laura, don't type 15 comments on one video. Do not, one sentence comment. Do not do that. It's rude. Sorry. I mean, I know now I've just insulted you, but I mean, fuck. I just don't know why people can't figure that out. They're sitting there typing this shit. They see their icons filling up the whole board, and they can't figure out, ooh, that looks a little obnoxious. All right. You say you don't believe in meaning, but do you accept that positive meaning is meaningful? Oh, Jesus Christ. What I believe is there's messes, and if you clean up a mess, that's good. So if there's bad and you correct it, or stop it, or prevent it, that's a good. Okay, so there's lots of bad in the world, lots of good things to do. But my argument is we can't intrinsically do anything good. Something has to be broken and we fix it. If there's nothing broken, we have no function. That's why we're just negative machines. Because the fact is we make the problems that we have to fix. It's like we shit on the floor and then we clean up half of it. Can you understand that? We shit on the floor, clean up half of it, and say, well, look how much cleaner it is. But we put the shit there. All right. I'm going to let reloads. Another scummy piece of crap I really hate. It's not your money to take, Gary. So we've already done this. Obviously, I made the argument in the video. I'm not taking the money. So that's another lie. And the poor aren't necessarily taking the money. The rational purpose could be you don't tax the guy who earned money. Instead, you tax the guy who didn't. That's the argument. You fucking lying piece of shit. And it was the argument made in the fucking video you ignored to make that stupid comment. So, fuck off. Had my fill of these assholes. Over the years, they do get a little bit tedious. But they get a lot tedious, actually. All right. Am I the only one who knows how logical syllogism works? Oh, fuck you. Why can't everyone just formulate their own ideas with logic? Logic is facts. So it's a video you haven't seen yet, but I say it in a lot of videos. There's no such thing as logic. There's facts. And they always, when you put two facts next to each other, they always point somewhere. So you can't stop them from pointing to another fact. They just tend to do that. And that's logic. And illogic is when you see them pointing A plus B, and it's pointing right at C, and instead the asshole goes, I wanted to point to E. So how are they going to formulate their own ideas or their own facts? You can't formulate your own facts. You have to acquire them. And you have to acquire them through the very process of doing logic on the facts. Using facts to point to facts. All right, anyway, do you think that making AI human is a good thing or bad thing? Well, you can't make AI, artificial intelligence, because the thing that gives us the most knowledge or information is the feeling part. Without the feeling part, we would be clueless. Really, the biggest part of life would be completely a mystery. We'd say, why are people fucking? Why are people eating? Why are they doing all this shit? What the fuck? How they find the give a shit? How could they possibly give a shit? You're not going to create a feeling computer. Ever. It's just not going to happen. You have to take it from the biology, because there's no way to create a mechanism that can evolve. Well, maybe you can create something that can evolve quickly that's made out of silicone, but I just don't think you're going to be able to do it out of programming. And you're going to have to somehow synthesize ouch. And even synthesizing ouch, trying to create one would be the most insane Frankenstein experiment ever, because you'd be giving it the capacity to feel before it had the capacity to say, stop. So you could be torturing something, insane amounts of torture, and it doesn't have language, and it can't say, you're hurting the fuck out of me. So it's nothing to play with. I find it so repulsive, this one sentence bullshit in 15 comments. If AI doesn't suffer, then isn't it a good thing that humans evolved to eliminate suffering and achieve it? What the fuck are you talking about? How are humans going to evolve to eliminate suffering, you idiot? If AI destroyed the world, would you embrace its birth as something that is created to suffer? Fuck you. I gotta delete this stuff because I can't even stand reading it. Ugh, it's fucking mush. Let's see. Why are you the only logical person on the internet? Everyone else is basically logically retarded. Well, I'm putting you in that category too. Sorry. In my opinion, your comments were retarded, and they were obviously excessive. You're not that interesting. All right, Fireball Fitness. I'm off topic here, Gary, but once you mentioned capping inheritance at $2 million, the idea being that a person would not have to work but could live a comfortable life. Yes. That would fix the problem. Yes, let them have a nice free ride. I don't even care. You can make it $4 million. I just don't. Again, you can't destroy the economy with those kinds of cheats. It's the $4 billion inheritance that ruins the economy. That's the one that creates this monopoly that has all the leverage, and that money never goes back into the economy. It never has to be earned again. Never has to be earned again. Just understand that. It can never be used as a reward for achievement. You've taken it off the counter of possible rewards forever. And by the more of that you put back on the reward, the more, it's like the prizes at a stupid carnival. It'd be, it's to your advantage to be able to have like a Mercedes Benz and have all kinds of really cool shit, a Jaguar. You could win a Jaguar. Just throw this golf ball and have it land in, Mr. Spooky's eye. And, you're going to get people to try if they can win the Jaguar. And all the whole argument is if you want capitalism to really work, put all these prizes back in the prize pool, and you'll create huge incentive for people to do more, not do less. Dumbasses. All right. Too bad this coward hiding behind this Piri icon can't fight the duel like real men back then. Well, yeah, I'd certainly like to stick a fucking knife in his head. Let's meet at the park at noon. Yeah, any day. Look, you want me to pay for your plane ticket here? As long as you sign a contract that says, yeah, I want to, I would like to risk my own life. Because, yeah, you're the type, fucker. God, that'd be so much. It would really be great if you could volunteer for cage matches, I mean, it would be a great TV show, and just let people grudge match, to the death. And just let people call each other out and just say, you're done, asshole. You talked shit, and now you're done. Jeez. Yeah, I could pull your motherfucking cunt useless eyeballs out. And eat them with a nice Chianti. Yeah. A nice cup of hot chocolate. Yeah. Oh, I can feel it. Yeah. I'm getting a little rush. Yeah. All right. Why he clowning on Joe's brow? Well, I mean, it's not that hard just to cut a little bit of a separation, right? So when somebody's got the old uni going, it deserves a comment. I mean, it's 2017, It's not tough to fix. I can't even describe what this guy's face looks like because it would be inappropriate. So again, another guy, no icon, just I'll talk shit about how other people look without showing how I look. Anyway, let's see. Oh, this is one of these life is unfair thing. Life can be unfair. I am more privileged than the guy born with no legs. Yeah, and you aren't humbled by that and grateful as fuck? You're not sitting there saying, oh, how dare that asshole think he was entitled. How dare he think this isn't bad that I have no legs. But it is the solution to cut off my legs. So again, he thinks it's cutting your legs off, not to have the right to cheat in the biggest game there is, right? So it's like going to the Olympics and saying, I have a right. My daddy won a gold medal, therefore I have a right. I use this analogy in the video. So it's like they totally ignore it. So why don't you just explain to me how it's different? How the game, the economic game, isn't just as real as the game of sport. And how every sport we have tons of rules imposing fairness because we understand as a concept it's achievable. And you're just saying, I don't want fairness in this system, even though it's achievable. The most important, the biggest game, fuck fairness. And that's all you are. You're the fuck fairness party. Life can be unfair. Yeah. But it is the solution to cut off my legs. So it's cutting off his legs, not to let him inherit. He still could inherit $1 billion. He just has to pay taxes on it. So they're complaining about paying taxes on income that they didn't earn. While at the same time he's saying it's okay to tax people who earned it. In order to fix the problem of apparent injustice. So again, he doesn't concede the fact that being born with no legs is an injustice, right? It can be unfair. Life can be unfair. I don't know. Is it unfair to be born blind? Does that suck? He can't figure that out. I first have to convince him that that's an actual bad thing. Amazing. Also, it isn't determined that those who do inherit millions and billions are going to do with it. It doesn't matter what they're going to do with it. The point is the right to do something, the right of the power should have been bestowed. It's like, what is somebody going to do with their gold medal? Or what is somebody going to do with their Nobel Prize money? That's not the issue. The issue is whether they earned it or not. Many blow it on Ferraris and hookers to end up with nothing. And again, they end up with nothing and society ends up with nothing. They piss away the value. And just like all the other stuff that goes bankrupt or goes into ruin or default, we all paid for that wasted labor, idiot. Meanwhile, the clever guy who knows what to do with the money or money is able to make it work. Make it work to do what? Create Facebook? Yeah, fuck you. So multicast, fucker. Maybe cut off just one of your legs to give it to the poor old chap that has none. So if you could do that without any way totally ruining your life, like you had a third leg you weren't using at all. I mean, frankly, right? Do you think that, okay, if everything over $4 million, so I have $4 million, and you're so crippled that you can't imagine how you can live without, having to pay tax on getting more. So you can't even sacrifice, over the $4 million. You can't sacrifice anything. That's not extra to you. That's not gravy. That's not something you could afford to give to somebody who had no leg. So if that was like an extra leg, right? After 4 million, you grow an extra leg. And you won't even give it to the guy who has none? Yeah, you're a cunt. This is the way life is more fair. Again, so you've defined yourself. So you couldn't figure that out. If you had an extra leg sitting there in the back of your garage or something, you wouldn't give it to the guy. And everyone is equally miserable. Oh, is that how it works? So the guy who's now can walk is equally miserable. So you repaired his missing leg, and now he's equally miserable to what? You, who wasn't even using the fucking leg that was in the garage. Your analogy is insipidly stupid, as are you. Oh, fuck. Alright, well, there's no point. I'll do this in another video. I'll just remember where I left off, maybe. I'll remember I left off at the stupid, dumbass leg comment. These people are such assholes. So anyway, enough. It's probably way over the allotted time. I don't have the battery to go dead, so I could go on, but I have a headache in my eye. Anyway, whatever. I'm tired. Done. I hate people. So anyway, but this software does work fairly well, so I will try to do more professionally styled type videos in the future. It should be good for response videos for certain, so it's a nice little feature and such. Yeah, just have to get my line of sight better, I think, so my eyes don't go in all kinds of fucking directions. Anyway, till next time, and such. Yeah.